All right, good morning, everybody. Appreciate you guys being here. Happy Friday. We don't really have anything on the calendar for today. We have a couple of Fed talks after the open. We have the housing market index at 10 o'clock. We had a couple small data points come out in the morning. Cap rate 76.3, a little bit higher than expected. Industrial production 0.4, a little bit higher than expected again. But that is about it. Nothing crazy. All right, taking a look at the trade plan from last night, it looks like it is the same. We have a complete inside profile here. So trading inside of Thursday, staying above the value low, staying below the value high. If we do break that 88, look for 72, possibly retracing Wednesday's value back to 35. If we hold above 13, look for that push back into 24. That is the value high of Monday. Already been tested one time. And then possibly an extension into 50, which would be an upper tail extension of yesterday. But in the meantime, you are just rotating inside of Thursday. All right, is it the same thing on NASDAQ? It looks like it is. So trading inside of Thursday's value. A bit more one-directional than ES. Holding above 781. What did I do here with NASDAQ? I think I gave the rotation targets instead of the breakout targets. Do we want to keep it that way? Let me see. So on NASDAQ, if I show you ES here, so ES, I gave you the breakout. So breakout of 88, breakout of 13. So holding below 88, holding above 13. In between, you have a rotation. But on NASDAQ, I gave you the rotation targets. So holding above 781 rotates into 95 or 945. Holding below 945 rotates downward. I usually don't do this because it confuses people. So I will change this. I think I did that last night because we were opening up below it. So we were under the value. So holding above 781, we were looking for that retrace back into that high there. But now that we're inside of value, let's go ahead and change this. And let's say 945 and 781. and then down to 640 and possibly, I would say 440, but that's too low. Let's take the low right here, around 562. So same idea with the trade plan. I just have to change the numbers because we're back into value, and yesterday we were below value. Okay, where are we on the 30-minute trend? It's also showing that overlap. So trail is flipping back and forth because we are neutral. There was a 30-minute pivot, had 90, giving us a little bounce back to the trail there. There was also a pivot on the high. I think that was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. 5-minute trying to break that trail, but same thing, pretty neutral, flipping back and forth. One-hour trail still bullish, so still slightly bullish with that P-shaped profile. Right before the open, we are testing VWAP here. Looks like we're going to open up exactly on that session VWAP, at least on ES, not on NASDAQ. NASDAQ is well above VWAP, VWAP at 817. But funny thing is, look at the delta on NQ. The delta is very weak. Funny enough, ES is much stronger delta-wise, but not according to VWAP. So a little bit of a weird open here. Good morning, everybody. Morning, Tachi, Scott, Leo, TS. Here's the trade plan for you guys. Future Morris, Jose, Fernando, Greg, Mr. B. Good morning, Larry. Morning, Banana. Julio, Trevor, Roger. Bouncing away from that 24 EMA, trying to break through VWAP here. Keep an eye on that rotation back to 13. That would have to take out both of these local highs here. Basically going back to this high. Joe, Igor, Lubomir, Peter, Tamer, Orion. Scooby, Titus, Ariel. Flory, Roman, Scott, Olive, eBay, Carrie. Hey, Scott, once again, man, I appreciate the donation. Thank you for the $10, man. Always a big supporter of the stream, man. I really appreciate that. Yeah, Austin, I almost forgot it was this weekend. Finally coming back. Good morning, 16, Ike XP. Good morning, Austin. Oh, is it next weekend? Gotcha. That's right. Yeah, it's the 20-something. Yep, you're right. That bearish delta is still flooding in here on NQ. Hey, Titus, I appreciate you sending the gift membership. Thank you for supporting the channel, man. I don't have any on-screen alerts for you guys. I need to get some alerts made for you guys. I appreciate that. Thank you for supporting the channel, man. '24 EMA holding strong on ES. It got swept a little bit on NQ, but it is holding. Come on, Darius. Yeah, it's funny. We normally see the major delta divergence on ES, not on NASDAQ. You're seeing it a bit more on NQ today. Kind of being absorbed as it approaches VWAP. How are the sectors doing today? Pretty big move on Nvidia. Micron, another 7%. That stock has been on fire. Actually insane. Micron in April of 25 was around 60. It's at 360 now. Another 7% day. It's up 8% today. It just went up 10% on last Tuesday. AVGO doing well. Pretty much the whole market, though, at least the big side of the market, is doing well. The smaller sectors are a little red. The market moving stocks are doing all right today. Russell's a little weak. And Dow's a little weak. Big sweep on Dow. So Dow taking out the high of Thursday, sweeping it. Keep an eye on that. Possibly a little sell-off. The heat map's just on TradingView. Good morning, Boz. What's going on, Ordinary? So recently we were seeing this the last week or two on ES, not every day, but every so often, that the limit traders were pushing the market around because the delta wasn't really spot on with price. It wasn't following price. And now we're seeing that today on NASDAQ where the limit buyers, the passive buyers, are kind of propping you up here because you have all this seller delta pushing down into those limit buys, but obviously they're not getting what they want. Still putting in higher lows. Seems like those buyers are protecting VWAP. We are just glued to VWAP on ES right now at 96. Morning, Faraj, Sam, Ken, and Brian. Keep an eye on VWAP here at 831. Starting to pull away from VWAP on ES. Here's that VWAP on NQ, pulling away from it on ES, so pushing away from 96, 97 here. Delta's not entirely bearish on ES, hasn't given up just yet. Massive spike there, possibly a headline. Could have just been a block trade, large block trade at 93. I don't see any major headlines there, and the speed of the tape did not keep up after that block trade, so I think it was just that block trade pushing you around. Which is not a great sign, because a block trade of that size, around 700-800 contracts, should not push you around that much. That's kind of showing a little bit of a lack in liquidity. Want a Chuck? Want a Rider? Still just stuck inside of the value of yesterday, so not really getting a one-directional move just yet. NASDAQ's getting a little weak. It needs to stay below 781 to really get one-directional. Have that strong bias. Right now, we're still just rotating around this already created value. Yeah, definitely trending on the short term, respecting the EMAs. Coming up on that 781 value low. We'll see if it supports it. Good morning, Ram. Here is that value low on NASDAQ at 781. Big bearish block trade right on that level as well. Value low on ES has already been tested a few times at 88. This is a failure to rotate. They did not make it to that value high. They stalled on the POC. So showing a little bit of a bearish bias. Good morning, Vanquish. Pretty trendy here, staying below the 80 MA, failing to rotate to that value high. They need to stay below the value low of yesterday because we're inside of that day. If it stays below that value, it is still looking pretty good for a breakdown. We're right on that weekly VWAP. Weekly VWAP around 83. Last week's VWAP around 70. Still a very stable trend. 5-minute highs being protected. You have not even touched the 80 MA in a little bit. You lost the 88 level. And you lost the 781 level as well. '72 target is basically hit on ES. The next one on NASDAQ is 640, which is basically one more push down. They're trying to protect this 72 to 75 node. little bit of a 30-minute sweep here, trying to protect this lower node. Keep an eye on that 24 EMA. This is the low of yesterday being respected. Here's that 24 retest. If it blows through the 24, watch VWAP here. Possibly a bear flag into VWAP 91.93. Around 813 on NQ. Still hovering around that 24. If it breaks through that, watch that VWAP retest. Possibly a bear flag in a VWAP. I just got an email from Apex saying they extended the sale, but they messed up in the email. It says it ended yesterday. So I'm not sure when they extended it to, but I'd assume like a week or something. So they probably extended it to next week. That's the 80% off sale with the $35 resets. Yeah, the email says ends Thursday, January 15th, which is yesterday. Still looking pretty weak on NASDAQ, not even breaking the 24 EMA. So we're back into that value gap between Thursday and Wednesday. There's not really a lot of value here. There's a little bit of a node from the close that we're kind of respecting. If it starts holding below 72, then watch for that possible retrace of Wednesday. That'd be a pretty big retrace. Same thing on NQ. You have the low of yesterday that's kind of acting like a support. And then once you lose 640, it gets pretty weak. Back testing the low of the range here, not liking that too much. Good morning, Tom. Starting to lose that low here on NQ. Kind of turning into a capital B here. They have to protect that lower node. They need to stay below like 83. Unfortunately, no bear flag in the VWAP. Too bearish here, selling the 24 EMA. First half of a bulldog being formed here on the 1 minute. You have that double bottom with that curved back. But the second half of the bulldog is when you pop up and put in that little bull flag. Now this would be a bad variation because you're going to run into VWAP. Is Trump talking? I don't think so. I don't see any headlines just yet. I didn't see him on the calendar. He is talking? I don't see any headlines. Let me see here. Oh, my Twitter crashed. That is probably why I am not seeing any headlines. Is Twitter down for anybody else, or is it just me? It says their server is down. It is down for you guys as well. Okay. Oh, there you go. That's why I wasn't seeing any headlines. Yeah, it's weird he wasn't on the calendar. So here's like the third part of the bulldog, putting in that pop up, and the last part is that pullback. Like I said, it's a bad variation because typically you want it to be either so far away from VWAP that you can target VWAP, or you want it to be above VWAP. You don't want it to be running into VWAP. That's typically bad because that turns into a bear flag in a VWAP trade. So you have two trades kind of fighting each other. And from what we've seen recently, the bear flag in a VWAP trade is probably the much stronger trade. I don't know exactly, Chebby. I think as long as you're paying like the evaluation monthly fee, I think you still have time, but I don't think it's like forever. You probably have like less than a month, but I'm not sure. You'd have to check their website. When you activate it, you either pay a monthly fee or a one-time fee. The one-time fee is typically what you want to go with unless you think you're going to fail it in less than 2 months. It pays for itself after the second month, usually. Depends on what discounts you get. Yeah, I'm going to keep refreshing. Oh, hold on. It might be working now. We'll see. The Bulldog is already showing signs that it wants to invalidate itself because that pullback is too deep. And this is exactly what I was just saying about this is a bad variation. Too much sell pressure from VWAP. Yeah, it's still down for me. So he's just making comments about like who the Fed chair might be, basically. EOC shifting to the bottom there. Yeah, no problem, man. Just take a look at their forums. Their forums are very well thought out and organized. They've got a lot of updated information there. Okay, the Twitter might be coming back. Okay, looks like my feed is up, but nobody's posting because their feeds are down. Whatever they're saying at this conference is putting gold down and pushing the dollar up. All right, looks like the headlines are starting to come in now. We only had 2 point of origin levels locally to the downside. And we're failing the first one, bouncing off the second one, and then failing the retest to the first one. So you're like ping-ponging back and forth between those 2 point of origin levels. Pretty funny. These two lows are being respected. You could pull a couple more lows. Like if we wanted to pull this one, we could. If we want to pull this one, we could. Yeah, you think so? You think they'd have better servers? Apex fixed the date on that extension as the 22nd. So that is next Thursday. So they extended it a week, basically. Next level on the downside here is 35 and 640 is being hit on NASDAQ. So next one below that is 562. Yeah, gold dropping pretty hard. Dollar's coming up as well. For the most part, the 5-minute highs have been protected the entire way down. You had a couple of breaks, but the breaks were instantly failed. Still very healthy here, holding on to the EMAs. Delta looks good. Protecting the upper nodes. So this is where it starts to get pretty dangerous for ES and NASDAQ. You're starting to enter Wednesday's value, basically saying that Thursday was fake value. It was kind of bullshit, right? They didn't believe in that value. So lower tail being retested here, nearly wiped out. That would be the next obvious target. And then possibly a full retrace if it gets really bad. Same thing here, upper value, they don't care about. Lower high, lower high. Watch that lower tail, and then watch that retrace as well. Nearly identical to what we did on Monday, Tuesday. Built up value. Tried to go higher. Lower high, nuked. Now, the difference with Tuesday is it actually did make a higher high. But then it had a really nasty sweep. Yeah, very similar. Putting in those lower highs and just coming right back down. So watch the POC, 44, prior low at 50, prior low at 35. They're all about the same levels on NQ. 560, 490, 440. Hey, Scott, have a good weekend, man. We'll see you on Monday. Or actually, no, we won't see you on Monday. Monday's a holiday. We'll see you on Tuesday. I keep forgetting Monday's a holiday. We get a long weekend. A very stable trend. It's pretty early in the candle, but watch that close. With a tail like this, you most likely will have single prints unless we have a very strong bounce. And I might have to switch off of Opera. It's starting to do the same shit that I switched off of Chrome for. Where it just randomly starts RAM crashing. It only just started doing that recently, like probably the last like 3 or 6 months. If I leave like a tab open that's playing my music or even like my YouTube, like my stream, it would just randomly RAM crash. Brave is pretty good. You haven't tried Brave. I've been using Opera for years. I've had like no issues, but recently it's just been doing that. Could be a PC thing too, but I don't know. Let me check. How much of my RAM am I even using? Yeah, I'm using around 30% of my RAM, but it's still RAM crashing. Have I seen RAM prices? Yeah. RAM prices are crazy. They're like trading cards. It's like following the Pokemon market. You have 128 gigs and Opera GX still works bad? Yeah. I don't know what happened to it. It was so good in the beginning. How's Firefox nowadays? Is Firefox still a decent browser? Oh, I don't need an upgrade. I've got 64 gigs of like high tier RAM. I don't think it's a hardware issue. I think it's just a software. You want a Michael? Well, that's what I was saying the other day. I was joking how my computer is probably like it's probably an asset. It's probably like an inflationary asset now with all these prices keep going up. Typically, computer prices just nuke. You buy a PC and then 3 to 4 years later, it's basically worth nothing because the parts have gotten so outdated. But nowadays, the market can't keep up. The prices are just going up, so you're actually holding an asset using your PC every day. It also seems like the um the parts are not getting better to the point that justifies their prices, even if there wasn't a supply crisis. even at their like MSRP, the parts are not improving the same way they used to be. It seems like the rate of improvement is a lot slower. Like I remember back when I was buying my 4090 and I was comparing it to the 5090, which was pretty new at the time, and the price difference was like massive, but the performance difference was like nothing. They weren't much better than the 4090s. They were better, don't get me wrong, but they weren't good enough to justify the price difference. And didn't they announce recently they're like doubling the prices of GPUs, the high level like 4090s, 5090s? It's kind of crazy. What exactly are you looking for in order to take a trade? Well, you're asking me a question that is trying to summarize like 10 plus years worth of trading into one answer, which is pretty impossible. Which is why I make all these series on YouTube that cover my thoughts and what I'm looking for. So I'd recommend watching my Becoming an Apex Trader series. And then from that point, if you want some more information, you can watch my volume profile series, my order flow series. But yeah, it's like going into a Michelin star restaurant and asking the chef how he cooks. I'm not saying I'm a Michelin star trader. I'm just saying that you're asking somebody with years and years worth of experience how they do what they do. It's like asking a professional race car driver how he drives a car, you know what I mean? Oh, you just take a right, then you take a left, then you press the brake. Keep it on the 24 EMAs here. If they start holding above that, breaking the 5-minute highs, then you're looking for that VWAP, possibly bear flag and a VWAP. Yeah, Lawrence, I'm going to start making my recap videos again. Those might help you. I'm going to try to make one today that's recapping. What day was that? What day was the VWAP day? Wednesday? I'm going to recap Wednesday and talk a bit about it. I'm still not going to be showing like my exact trades, but we're going to talk about the concepts and the best trades of the day and stuff like that. We were doing those recaps for a few months, and then we started going into the shorts and started going into the long form content. But now that we're in our break for our long form, we're going to go back into the short form. Notice what they're doing here. They are repairing this 30-minute tail. But yeah, at the end of the day, a lot of the questions I get are people saying they watched my videos, but they don't understand like when to press the button. And I try to explain over the years that I can't really give that to you guys. That's not teachable. That's just screen time. You guys have to figure out all the little variables that go into every trade. Yeah, this week was a lot of trend concepts. This week was a lot of like understanding the 30-minute structure, the highs and lows being protected, understanding the pullbacks into VWAP, the 24. A lot of trend structure this week. Like right now, we are very, very trendy right now. So you have to understand how to read when the highs and lows are being protected, when the 24 EMA is being tested, stuff like that. Very trendy week in the sense of the lower time frame setups. Looks like Twitter's having issues again. I haven't had a headline come out in like 13 minutes. Yeah, I think it's down again. Yeah, size is definitely a big issue with a lot of traders. They wonder why they're so uncomfortable when they're trading, and it's almost always a size thing. They're trading too much for what they should be. Finding that size that is the sweet spot between you can make a little bit of money, but you're also comfortable doing it. You should never be panicking like while you're trading, watching the number go red or watching it go green. It shouldn't be like raising your blood pressure and making your heart beat like crazy. You're just getting too emotional and you're making bad decisions. When trading is done right, it should be extremely boring. Do I use a weekly profile? Not every single day, but I do have it. I showed it earlier. I look at it probably once or twice a week, not every day though. They are trying to repair this candle. They need to hold above 73 if they do not want to have single prints on that lower tail. Yeah, exactly. Another tip is to hide your P&L as much as you can. Most platforms let you turn it into ticks or points or something like that. Hiding your P&L is definitely helpful. Keep an eye on VWAP, possibly a bear flag in a VWAP. It's also a target for anybody buying the lows down here for that sweep. Yeah, I can't tell you guys what size to trade because like I always talk about, by the way, a wall here, wall at 75 it looked like, kind of a small one. I can't tell you what size to trade. Everybody's different. We all have different walks of life, different money, you know what I mean, different net worth, all that stuff. Couple of big contracts for somebody could be tiny, they could be massive for somebody else. So what I do instead of that is I have the sizing guides. So I have a couple of sizing guides on Apex on YouTube that talk about the proper size for that type of account. So like if you're using the 50K account, if you're using the 250K account, I give you a proper size that is a quote unquote safe size that you could lose a few trades and not blow the account up. You could have a couple of bad days and not blow the account up. But as far as like your own personal trading or like all the other funding accounts, I can't tell you like this is the right size to trade. Just got to feel what's comfortable, see what's comfortable. At the end of the day, you shouldn't be able to have a bad week and it blows your account up. You should be able to have a bad week and then come back next week and make it back, right? You shouldn't be able to have like 1 or 2 bad days and your whole account's gone. You're doing something seriously wrong at that point. Twitter is still down. I don't talk about stuff like that, Boz. I don't really get into my personal trading very much anymore. I've kind of been there, done that, been streaming for many years. Used to show my trading a lot in the beginning, slowly tapered it off. But I'm like a streak trader. I typically have long winning streaks and then long losing streaks and kind of back and forth. But yeah, I have times where like I have to sit back and be like, what am I doing? Like, am I reading the market wrong? Is the volatility like too different for my setups? Stuff like that. But you kind of go on streaks. Yeah, I think everybody should have daily max losses. Like, you should always have a level where you're like, okay, I'm obviously not in tune with the market today and I should stop trading. I see it a lot in my tutoring when I tutor and I look at people's calendars and they have like their P&L calendars. And we go over like their average. It's like a calendar. It shows you this is how much you made on Monday. This is how much you lost on Tuesday. You've probably seen them if you guys trade. But you'll see on those calendars, they'll have like mostly green days. They're like a really good trader. But then you look at their red days, and their red days are like worth 10 or 20 of their green days. And that's their problem right there. Just cut out those red days and you're green. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you have to be green every day. I'm just saying cut out those massive days that are absolutely blowing your account up, and it turns out you're actually a profitable trader. Stop allowing these like single days to wipe out a month, wipe out a week. It's a very common issue. Like I said, you can't wipe out all red days, but you can make sure your red days are not worth 10 of your green days. Okay, here is VWAP. So if you took any kind of buy from the bottom, this is a great target. And then if you didn't take a buy, keep an eye on VWAP. We might have a bear flag in the VWAP here. By the way, perfect repair of that tail. There are no single prints there. Yeah, especially on a Friday, too. You don't want to give away your whole green week on a Friday. Typically, what I say about Fridays is it's an allowance day. You give yourself an allowance. You say, okay, I made $500 this week. Monday through Thursday, I made $500. So on Friday, you give yourself a portion of that as like, okay, if I lose $200, I'm done. So then I'm still green on the week, I'm not going to go into my weekend pissed off. I'm not going to start on Monday pissed off. You're still green on the week, right? They're called sizing guides. If you type in sizing guide on my channel, if you go to my channel and just search my channel, don't search like all of YouTube. They should be called sizing guides. There's a 50K one, and there's a 250K one. There's also a written version in Discord. If you guys are in Discord, just go to the Apex channel. Yeah, the title should literally be Apex Sizing Guide. Then it should be like 50K or 250K, something like that. The 250K one's called Stop Failing Your Prop Trading, How to Pass Your Apex 250K Accounts. The other one's called Sizing Guide. I should have put Sizing Guide in the first title as well. Failing VWAP damn near to the tick. You didn't quite test it. Missed it by like 1 point. So already finding buyers off of that ADMA. Looks like I might want to test VWAP properly this time. On Wednesday, when we had all those bear flags in a VWAP, they were session VWAP trades, not daily VWAP trades. Session VWAP right now is 85. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. You could go back and check, but it was the session VWAP that starts at 6 p.m. Eastern. They broke through the daily on almost every retest and hit this session, which is exactly what's happening right here. We'll see if they can hold below this 85. Hey, Roger, have a good weekend, man. We'll see you on Tuesday. A very clean 5-minute reversal. Very obvious hammer on the 30-minute and the 5-minute on the low. 30-minute sweep. Here's the VWAP target we talked about earlier. 5-minute lows being protected. Keep an eye on that shift. If it starts to fail VWAP, you're going to start to protect the 5-minute highs and nuke the lows. A lot of sellers at 82 to 81 trying to push through that daily VWAP. Not really seeing the push away from VWAP that you would like to see here. They're really finding a lot of buyers around those EMAs. No, I didn't see the direct headline for gold. I'm not sure what happened there. There were some statements going on about the like Fed chair that pushed the dollar up, possibly pushed gold down, but I am not sure. That 5-minute candle's pretty ugly there, failing VWAP so far. But all right, guys, we're going to start ending the stream here. We're currently at 80 likes. If you guys could push that over 100, we'll do one more giveaway before we go. We'll do an Apex account giveaway. If you guys are heading out, enjoy your long weekend. Monday is a holiday for the markets. They will not be open. So I will not be streaming until Tuesday. Apex announced they did push their sale to next week. So it's extended until, I think, Thursday. So 80% off Apex accounts, and the resets are $35. So see whichever one's cheaper for you guys and go with that option. If you guys use code BREW for any of those accounts, just be sure to hold on to those receipts. We will be doing a raffle at the end of the month. Every 50K is 1 ticket, so 50K is 1, 100K is 2 tickets, so on and so forth. We pull cash prizes and Discord access for those raffles. All right, I appreciate that. You guys got us above 100. Let's go ahead and get that giveaway ready. I appreciate all the support this week. I believe we did hit over 100 likes like every stream this week. Appreciate that. All right, as always, pick a number between 1 and 50. If you guys tie, we will do a tiebreaker. Only pick one number. If you pick more than one, you just get disqualified, so don't waste your time. And then have your email ready, because I'm going to have to email you if you do win. If you guys are not participating and you're heading out, enjoy your weekend. I will see you guys back on Tuesday. Look out for a recap video, possibly later today, possibly sometime this weekend. I want to start doing those recaps again. I think Wednesday was a really good day for the VWAP trade, so we'll go ahead and do a recap, talk about those trades a little bit. You guys will have probably another minute and a half, and then I'll pull it. Yeah, I was thinking about doing yesterday and Wednesday in the same video. We'll see how long the video is, though. I typically like to keep my recaps pretty short. I want to keep them around like 15, 20 minutes tops. So if I can fit both days into one video, I'll try to do that. We'll see how it goes. Don't worry if you guys have the same number as somebody else. We'll just do a tiebreaker. Makes it a lot easier. I'll give you guys another minute or so. By the way, breaking through VWAP here is still maintaining that trend. 24 EMA being respected. 5-minute lows being respected even after that nasty candle. Finishing that rotation of the cash profile, the full session rotation is very far away. Not too far, actually, about 10 points. Retesting that 88 value low here. All right, I'll give you 30 more seconds, then we're going to go ahead and roll it. Make sure you guys don't have a delay. Press the live button. Yesterday we had somebody win and they did not claim their prize, so make sure you guys are up to date on the stream. Press the live button. Keep it on that session VWAP on NASDAQ 753. Possibly rotating that full session now. This all started from that 30-minute candle at the bottom, that really nice gravestone, or sorry, a hammer candle. All right, I'm going to go ahead and roll it. Good luck, guys. Good luck. 35. Well, we just had a 35. Evelyn got it in right before I rolled it. Is there any more 35s? Are there any more here? Let me see. I don't think so. If I miss you, please let me know, and I'll double check. I believe it's just you, Evelyn. I think you are good. Guys, don't try to do that. I've seen people do that multiple times. I'm going to start banning you guys. If you guys try to put the winning number in after I pull it, I don't know if you're just trying to be funny, but I will start banning you guys for doing that. It's just dishonest and I don't like it. I make a note before I press the button of who the last name is that I'm going to basically look at. All right, Evelyn, I think you are the winner. I don't see anybody else. Yeah, Fable, like I was saying, I think some people do it as a joke, but I've been seeing it almost every giveaway, so I'm making note of it now. I'm letting you guys know that it's not funny. Just don't do it. Because then we're going to have people that don't do it as a joke, and they're going to start arguing with me in chat. Like, oh, I picked it before you rolled it, yada yada. It just adds a bunch of headache. Okay, I believe I typed that in, right? That is my email. Evelyn, if you can go ahead and send me an email, just let me know, hey, I won. I'm going to send you a random number, and then just type that random number in chat so I can confirm it's you. Yeah, no hard feelings to you, Fable. I'm just making a note of it for future. So people just stop doing that. You can't add me on Discord unless you're a Discord member. Have a good weekend, guys. If you guys are heading out, enjoy your long weekend. Remember, the markets are closed on Monday. They might be open for a few hours. You know how futures are. Futures have that bit of time sometimes that they are open. But I do not recommend trading because it is a holiday. Yeah, sorry, not like you having a Discord account. You have to be a part of my Discord, in our Discord group. if you want to message me on Discord. I don't let everybody message me on Discord. It would be a nightmare. Let me know when you email me, Evelyn. Let me take a look here. I got it. Never mind. I got it. Sometimes it goes to spam. Man, Opera, I might be switching this weekend. It's being so ridiculously slow for no reason. All right, Evelyn, I sent you a random number. Just type that in chat, and then I'll send over your code. I've got a few more accounts to give away, so we should be doing the same thing next week. Awesome, Evelyn. I got you. So I'm going to send you a code on that email, Evelyn, and just type that in. Basically, go sign up for any size account on Apex like you normally would. And then where it asks you for a promo code, just put that code that I send you. And it's going to give you a free account for 30 days. But after 30 days, it's going to charge you full price or half price. So be sure if you don't pass it in that 30 days, go back to the brew code, because it will typically save you more money. But all right, guys, that's all I got. I'll see you in Discord. I'll be streaming in Discord for the rest of the day. If you guys are not in Discord, enjoy your long weekend. I will be back on Tuesday. Peace, everybody.